I hope it's okay that I record this. I haven't recorded a video on this phone in forever, so excuse me. But as a person who does create content, who does put themselves out there to be watched and viewed, one thing that still amazes me, still baffles me, is how people consume content. I don't believe that I make family friendly content. I don't also make like obscene content, but like my content is for a select type of person. And that being said, I know that there are at least 5 people, at least a handful of people. There's probably more. I don't know. And I don't even know who those people are, so don't think I'm like thinking about you specifically well, now there's people coming to mind. I used to want to be famous so bad as a child, and that evolved over time when I started discovering myself and like knowing myself. And like one thing about it is when you put yourself in front of the world to see, not even saying that like people are watching, but if you put yourself out there, that comes with a lot of different things. And one of those things is the ability for people from your past to view you as if they know you in the present. And I don't know, me personally, once again, I don't personally get it. Like recently I came across this guy that I used to know on live stream. Like he was live streaming and I was like, oh yeah, I knew that dude. And you know what my first thought was? Oh wow, that's cool. Look at him doing what he's doing and being happy and all that jazz. That was my first thought. Maybe not literally verbatim, but that was like the train of thought. And it truly baffles me to know that there are people out there who see me, haven't seen me forever, and that's not their thought. Their first thought isn't, oh wow, he's doing what he's doing, he's being happy, he's living his truth. That's not their first thought. Their first thought is, I don't know what their first thought. I don't really spend too much time dissecting these people's brains, but there's often a lot of animosity. There's often a lot of envy and jealousy that these people carry. And it's unchecked because we all experience jealousy. We all experience envy at some point. It's just a matter of whether or not you're willing to check it at the door, And unfortunately, most people have not been taught how to regulate themselves. Most people feel a negative emotion and they kind of just act on it. Or if they don't act on it, they internalize it and then they make it somebody else's problem subconsciously. Also, I hope you don't mind the sweat. I hate sweating so much. I can't imagine that there would be a person out there who enjoys the act of sweating. I don't. So I'm sorry if it's visually unappealing. I feel gross. So just so we're on the same page. But yeah, when you dedicate your life to service, when you are trying to uplift humanity, whether publicly or not, you are going to face resistance. You're going to face pushback. And that's something I've had to learn along the way. That like, as I'm doing what I'm doing, there are going to be people who just do not appreciate that I'm doing what I'm doing, and it's really sad. Once again, it's so sad. I don't spend too much time dissecting their brains because it's honestly tragic. It's a disease, to be quite honest. But it doesn't, because there will be people who try to make you feel or think certain things about what you're doing. People who would be like, well, that's not realistic. You can't make money doing that, or like X, Y, and Z. First of all, I don't think you should go into any career with the idea of just trying to make money. When I went to school for massage therapy, one of the things that these lovely individuals told me was, if you're just in it for the money, you probably should just not do it. Because you can make good money as a massage therapist. I have had friends, I've known people who make quite a lot of money touching people. But when you really boil it down, when you really think about it critically, something like massage, something like energy work, something like tarot readings, like what I do, is life-changing. I mean, most professions, honestly, when you really think about it, are life-changing. Like, you go to the DMV that could be life-changing, you know? Like, depending on their attitude, that could be, like, uplifting or, like, draining as fuck, you know? And I don't think enough people think critically about, like, their professions or what they do, like, for money. You know, it's really just, like, I'm here to make money. And it's like, okay, but, like, also you're affecting people. You are essentially changing people's lives. Like, teachers, they don't get paid that much as far as I'm aware. Not for what they do. At least I almost died, almost tripped. But they are changing lives. They have the ability to shape minds. And if you're only there thinking about the money, if you're only there thinking that it's a job, you have less of an impact. Like, you could be the best teacher to the people in that school, but if that's your only goal, that is going to be watered down. Just point blank. Like, the reason why a lot of mainstream music is like the way that it is because it's about money, you know? Even some of my favorite artists, mainstream artists, I'm not going to name anybody, but their music is watered down because part of the goal is making money. They have a team behind them who is wanting to profit off of this energy, this art, this music, whatever. You know what I mean? And so that's something to be said about that. But then going back to putting yourself out there, for anybody who wants to put themselves out there more, just realize that you are going to face those moments. Like, some people are really lucky. I think I was really lucky, honestly. And in the sense that, like, some people, they just receive praise right off the bat. That's a weird expression. But some people receive praise as soon as they put themselves out there. And I was terrified to get on TikTok. I was terrified to put myself out there in that way. I was already making YouTube videos and stuff like that, but I knew subconsciously that it was going to be a step forward. And so I was terrified. And when I finally did it, I did receive a lot of positive feedback. Here and there, I would get really negative feedback. I remember one time, I will never forget this. One time I posted myself playing the ukulele. I had no clothes on. I was in a motel. I had no clothes on. And obviously I had the ukulele covering me. But I remember the comments were so negative. Like, most of the people who commented were telling me that I looked gross and then I shouldn't be putting this on the internet. And I was just like, oh, okay. And like, I don't even remember how I necessarily felt when I received those messages, when I received those comments, but it was something that was like, what the fuck? And thankfully it didn't affect me too badly. I think I just took the video down. I made it private. Because that's not the sort of content I make on a regular basis. That was just me experimenting. I was starting to post more music stuff, and I was like, let me be vulnerable, let me be naked. And so I did that, and yeah, it was not well received. And you just gotta be careful. You gotta understand that, like, when you dedicate yourself to putting yourself out there on the world stage, when you dedicate yourself to being of service to the world, there's going to be pushback. Whether you do it in silence or not, there's going to be pushback. Because when you really think about it, you can't do it alone. You can't really, there's not much we can do fully alone. Like, we still need, like, even when you're an entrepreneur, even when you're like a business owner, you still have to rely on the feedback of strangers to exist. Like, we don't exist in a vacuum, you know? So that is a thing. Cause I don't know. I think generally there's a lot wrong with the world, a lot wrong with the way that we exist as a society. But knowing that, and knowing that I have the ability to do something about it, motivates me to do something about it, motivates me to post about it. And whether or not a whole bunch of people see it or engage with it is not really the point. The point is that I'm doing something, I'm putting something forward, you know, even if nobody sees it for another year or so, it's still something that is, you know, it's a powerful message, you know. And for anybody who is striving for fame, for anybody who is striving to be seen by lots of people, just remember that you're going to experience pushback. I remember earlier I was doing a reading, and the song Fences by Paramore came through, and basically she's like, if you let me, I'll show you how to build restrictions, or no, I'll show you how to Build your fences, set restrictions, separate from the world. A constant battle that you hate to fight, you just blame the limelight. Sorry, that's not really the best. But it's basically a song about protecting yourself from the world. Like, yes, you are putting yourself out there, but you have to be mindful that when you do that, you are opening yourself up to so many different energies. You know, some are beautiful, some are amazing, some are so wonderful. But then there's energies, and when I say energies, I mean people, I mean situations, I mean energies, because everything boils down to energy, right? And vibration. There are energies that you have to be mindful of because they are not the most kosher, you know? And so I'm going to end this here instead of rambling and rambling. I hope that you got something out of this video. I hope that this was useful in some way. Remember to drink some water today. Remember to keep your spirits high. Do things that make you feel alive as I walk through a cemetery. And stay groovy. Deuces.